very good evening to all of you. It's a big pleasure and a big opportunity for me to place before you some of the activities that the National Spatial Data Infrastructure is pursuing, and what's the immediate future of the National Spatial Data Infrastructure I would like to touch upon. And the reality is, in fact, the kind of applications my predecessors spoke about are having a very important element at the heart of various topics he covered. In fact, urban mobility, space, location, in fact, at the core of all these, if we need to manage, there is a requirement of spatial data or geographical data, maps, basically data, but a very specific kind of data sets. I mean, scientific contribution, that's the spatial data or geographical data. Well, having talked of that, if we are getting into smart city management or management of our businesses, management of rural areas, or our management of different developmental schemes, in fact, we do everything on space, but we have a very big problem. We do not have access to data sets. In fact, inaccessibility to data is a very important problem. Even for this, I mean, for Indian Railways, in fact, the speaker is from Indian Railways. In case of Indian Railways, are we having the right kind of data properly spatially enabled? In fact, a very small application I would touch upon from the Indian Railways, thus the National Train Enquiry System. We need to query on the movement of trains. If we query on that particular information in the web, you will find a table coming up giving the train number or the train name and its scheduled arrival, scheduled departure, actual arrival and actual departure information shown in the form of a table. It's not possible to locate the train on the form of a map. That's the a problem. Why? Because the background information to show the location of the train is not accessible. It's available, lying somewhere in some office corridor, in some office almirah. Maybe there are maps available, or even digital data getting stored somewhere, but it's not accessible. That's the problem I'm trying to highlight. How do we make accessible spatial data? That's the problem. And second one is, even if data sets are available, one doesn't know where those data sets are lying and which agency is collecting what data. This is not only, I mean, maybe some advancements have taken place. We now know, or humans understand, but machines do not understand. We are talking of smartness, and in the absence of machines accessing geographical data, discovering geographical data, and using geographical data, we can't just become smart. That's a very important problem. And the third thing is non-availability. In fact, to a large extent, many data sets are not available. High resolution data sets. In fact, we are talking of very high resolution data to manage our cities. Delhi has been mapped in 1:2000 scale by Survey of India. But is that data adequate for our applications, for this kind of management requirement we are talking about? Not. It's not there. Thus, non-availability of data is a major problem. Another problem is standardization. If we are getting into web, making things accessible on mobile, we should standardize the data sets. We must standardize information. Machines must be able to access those data in a standard way, as standard service. There is service-oriented architecture now available, publish, find, bind model. But those have not been implemented so far, at least for accessing these data sets which are lying in different survey agencies, like Survey of India, like Geological Survey of India, Forest Survey of India, Central Water Commission, Census of India. In fact, to a certain extent, those are available or accessible even. There are web portals, but those are really far away from machine processing. In fact, that's very important for smart energy or smart city or smart environment, smart economy or whatever, for maintenance or management of all those. Thus, in order to overcome, in fact, in this way there are several more problems. Instead of getting into that, what has been done? Let me quickly briefly touch upon that. In fact, there are now portals coming up which are providing the services. Web map service. A computer or a human being can visualize or access the maps. Similarly, web feature service, that is for processing. We do not have adequate standards implemented for processing of those data sets, but we need structures, mechanisms to bring in these standards, develop these standards, use those standards, implement those standards, so that those could be put to use in these applications as we have been discussing in this important gathering. This lack of standardization has to be addressed, and an interoperability between different systems have to be brought in. In fact, portals are now providing interoperable services. Systems can, as in case of a simple example of bank ATMs, the computers are interoperable, sharing information seamlessly. It should be possible to seamlessly access all kinds of information amongst computers. In fact, IT infrastructure is required for that. Thus, interoperability is an important requirement which is getting addressed and now available. You can go to now Sarvekshan portal, Bhuvan portal, like similar other portals where there are of course policy restrictions and restricting data up to certain resolution, but those are interoperable services which could be accessed by our machines. And there are other requirements like policies, data sharing policies. There are requirements of capacity building. Those are going on. That's where we are now. Now, where we are moving towards. In fact, these are all about data, but data is not adequate. We have to get into applications. Computers must be providing the required services, information services, the processed data services for use in decision support. That's the future. And I can go on speaking. Just I would like to highlight what are those components of national GIS being talked of at the highest level now for support, financial support. Those are something like the data registry. Some of you might be already aware. We have to bring in semantic interoperability, the interoperability of meanings. Thus, we have to maintain the definitions. We have to maintain the standards getting used, because standards also change. Definitions vary across different organizations. Thus, we need to put registers accessible to computers for automated processing of applications. That's what is going to come out. And then a cloud platform for processing of these applications, or processing of these data sets for delivery of products to the end users. And then the databases. In fact, our databases need major upgradation if we get into this smart applications. Thus, we need high resolution data. We have to prepare and provide in a processable form, like through feature service. Thus, that's a major requirement which is going to be addressed. Then the applications, in fact, the tools required to be developed so that these data sets could be well integrated with the workflows of different agencies concerned with the management of these concepts like smart cities, smart economy, smart energy, and so on. And finally, there should be a proper policy, because some of the policies are not very supportive of these elements. And we need to bring in policies for geospatial governance, geospatial data provision, sharing, and so on. Thus, with these words, I conclude. We can respond to questions if necessary at a later time. And I would like to, again, express my thankfulness and gratefulness to the organizers for inviting me to this occasion. And thank you very much.